Well, hey there, everyone. For today's Advent devotion, I actually want to take us back to last Sunday. Last Sunday was the first Sunday in Advent, and we used a word on that Sunday to kind of mark that first Sunday in Advent. The word we used is hope. And connected to hope, Pastor Don read a very hopeful passage of Scripture for us. And so I want to take just one small piece of that passage that he read for us, and I want to focus in on it. So that verse comes to us from Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2. And this is what it says. It says, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them a light has shone." See, this verse, it comes to us as a part of a promise about a future king who was coming. And an Israelite would have understood this future king to be the coming Messiah, the one who was promised. And that Messiah was going to come and he would bring goodness and light and truth into the world. He would set the things that are wrong in the world right. He would establish his kingdom, and it would be an everlasting kingdom. All of these things are true about the Messiah. But what's interesting in this promise, this passage that is a promise about the Messiah, what's interesting about it is that verse that we just read, that very first verse, is the first verse in the entire promise about the Messiah. And it's a promise about people who dwell in darkness. You see, if you read the context immediately prior to this message about people in darkness, we come to understand that the people who dwell in darkness are the people in the northern part of Israel. And these people in the northern part of Israel, they are unfaithful. They are the people who have filled up, they're people from other nations, all of the other surrounding nations, and they kind of reside in this northern part of Israel. They're people who worship falsely. They follow after false gods. They're people who don't do the right things. They are the undeserving people, the unfaithful people. And what this is this is a message to quote, good Israelites. Israelites who like to think that they worship rightly. Israelites that like to think that they understand who God is. It's a message to those Israelites about the rabble that live up in the northern part surrounding Israel. And it's a message to them that God's light is coming even to those unfaithful people. In fact, God's light is coming especially to those unfaithful people, those undeserving, those who are far off from God, those who blatantly ignore God. God is going to do something to bring his light to them. So when we think about light, then, what is light? Well, in Scripture, light is truth. It's knowledge. It's understanding. It's God's favor. It's his grace. Like, we could combine all of these to really encapsulate what light is. It's the gifts of God coming to people. Like, when God shines his light on people, the implication is that the gifts of God are now going to be accessible, especially to people who were in darkness. So as we end today's devotion, I actually want to leave you with a couple of questions for reflection, and then I want to leave you with a song. So my two questions for reflection are these. The first one is, in what ways were you the unexpected or undeserving person? In what ways were you the unexpected or undeserving person? Because the thing that you get to celebrate this morning is that God's light has indeed shone on you. So in what ways were you the unexpected or undeserving person? But then, my second question is, who is the unexpected or undeserving person in your spheres of influence? Who is the person that it would be surprising, it would be amazing if God were able to save them? Because the promise that this passage brings about this coming Messiah at the outset is a promise that the very unexpected or undeserving people, that this king is somehow going to make it possible for God's light to shine even and especially on them. So with that being said, I want to leave you with this song. This song is called "O Come All You Unfaithful." And it is a song, a Christmas song that has just been written this year to reflect how God pursues especially the undeserving. God brings his light especially to the undeserving. Take one.
Oh, come, all you unfaithful, come, weak and unstable, come, no, you are not alone. Oh, come, barren and waiting ones, weary of praying, come, see what your God has done. Christ is born, Christ is born, Christ is born for you. Oh, come, bitter and broken, come, with fears unspoken, come, taste of his perfect love. Oh, come, guilty and hiding ones, there is no need to run, see what your God has done. Christ is born, Christ is born, Christ is born for you. He's the Lamb who was given, slain for our pardon. His promise is peace for those who believe. He's the Lamb who was given, slain for our pardon. His promise is peace for those who believe. So come, though you have nothing, come, he is the offering. Come, see what your God has done.